Welcome to the reading of Turning 25 on my 52nd birthday. This is a story of my life right after my divorce as I grew into a new woman. Please comment any questions on the video below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And thank you so much. Please like and subscribe also. Thanks. On chapter 39, and actually I'm going to read it in two parts because it's a pretty long chapter. Okay, so let's get started. Veronica was back to her regular schedule. She was working out and just trying to get through her days. Work was a drag for the most part. It was becoming less and less stimulating. It was not even fun going to the office. It was just not fun. It was almost dreadful. She was conversing with Rick fairly regularly right now. They would message here and there. One day he sent her a link to a website about an event that he wanted to go to. This was a fairly big beer convention that comes to Denver once a year. Breweries from all over the country come to showcase their microbrews. They were both interested in this and talked about it in the past, so they made arrangements. Rick would drive down on Friday afternoon. They would spend a couple hours at the convention and then spend all day Saturday there. And he would go home on Sunday. Since her visit with him in July, he had been utterly amazing. They did not talk every day, but they talked. And he was always very complimentary of her, or they would joke, or they would sext. It was just nice. It was like the relationship was kind of growing again. It felt really good. It really did. He kept saying how he needed to get more photos of her giving him a blowjob, and then he wanted to get a video of them having sex. A year ago, she would have never let this happen, but now she didn't mind. She didn't mind having videos or pictures taken. This was going to be fun. One day she had mentioned her bathtub in a text to him. It was not related to sex at all, and he messaged her back saying that they should have sex in her bathtub when he was there. That just made her jaw drop. She could not believe that he thought of that. He always surprised her. She was really getting excited about the weekend. Everything about it was getting her excited. The fact that they would get to see each other again, the fact that she was going to have good sex again, or at least sex with someone she enjoyed. The closer it got, the more he would message her, and the more excited she became about seeing him. This was going to be a fun weekend. She enjoyed the anticipation. She enjoyed the thought of them being together. He was messaging her quite a bit on Friday morning. They were both telling each other the things they were going to do to each other. He was excited about the convention and was excited about their time. This was one of Veronica's best days she had had in a long time. She couldn't remember the last time she was so looking forward to something, anything. He couldn't tell her all the things. He continued to tell her all the things that he was going to do to her and the things that he wanted her to do to him. They were having fun messaging back and forth. When he was getting into his car to drive down, his car wouldn't start. It was already noon, so if he couldn't get a ride soon, Veronica would need to go pick him up. If that were the case, then they would not be able to make it to the convention that night. They both decided that she would just pick him up in the morning because it had gotten late and he could not get the car to start or get the part needed in time to make it down on Friday night. She really wanted to see him, but she had to wait. Saturday morning, she woke up fairly early. It was hard to sleep thinking about seeing him. She was really excited about that. She put on her exercise clothes. She thought she could really use a walk before going to pick him up. She was excited, but extremely nervous. That was one thing that always made her just super enjoy their time together. The idea that she always got nervous when preparing to see him, and sometimes even talk to him. She was just sitting down to put on her tennis shoes when she received his text. She instantly got giddy and happy and smiley. He asked if she could come get him, and of course she said she would. But that she needed to take a shower. It was about an hour and a half drive, but she still needed to shower and shave and put some makeup on. She really wanted to look nice for him. She wanted him to want to see her. She got in the car and literally gunned it. She had the accelerator to the floor the majority of the drive. Thank God there was no traffic. She was very familiar with the drive. She was so excited to see him, not only because of the sex, but they really enjoyed their time together. This weekend they were going to spend quite a bit of time together. When she got to his place, she pulled up and got out of the car and knocked on his door. He was still getting his things together. He asked her to come in for a bit while he finished up. She was a nervous wreck. She was literally shaking, which was nothing new. How did he do this to her? Once they were in the living room, he grabbed her and said, what? No hug or kiss? Then he began kissing her so passionately. God, that was a good kiss. She had not remembered a time when she enjoyed kissing someone more than she did right at that minute. It was so exciting and soft and hard and wonderful all at the same time. Her heart was racing. She was so excited. It was the first time they were together where it felt like it was more than just sex. It just felt more. She never felt more like a woman when they were together, and it was no way she had ever felt before. It was the first time that a man was taking control of the sexual moments and at the same time made her body feel explosive and beautiful. He took down his pants and sat on the couch, put a pillow in front of him and told her to get on her knees. And he said, "You know what I want." She began taking care of him, and it was amazing. She just loved how much he loved it. That made everything that much better. He pulled her up and sat her on his lap, and that was wonderful. And he took her off his lap and bent her over the couch to get her from behind. When he was almost finished, he pulled out and put himself in her mouth, and he finished there. It was so wild and wonderful. It was fun and sneaky and just everything that she wanted. It was so amazing how she felt nowhere 52. She truly did feel 25. Once they finished, they headed downtown Denver to the convention. Veronica didn't know downtown all that well, so she wasn't quite sure where to park. It made things a little comical with the one-way streets and trying to find some parking. She finally just parked in an underground parking area. It was a lot more money, but she didn't want to continue to find something cheaper and then have to walk a long way. They were going to be on their feet probably most of the day. They decided they would get through the majority of the show that day, and then when they came back the next day, they could try to hit anything they missed. Veronica decided she would taste in the morning, but then be careful in the afternoon since she would be the one driving. It was so fun, and it was fun visiting the different booths. The different brewers were very knowledgeable and would answer any questions about the brewing process and the ingredients. Everyone was friendly. It was a good day. Rick was able to taste quite a few different beers and was able to visit some of the booths that had beers that he really already really enjoyed. Veronica had made reservations at a steakhouse for dinner that evening. They were going for an early dinner. They didn't want to have to drive back after they were done at the convention. They also wanted to get back to their house at a decent time so they could enjoy the evening. That's where I'm going to stop here on this chapter, but it was a big change in the way things kind of went with them, and it sometimes makes me wonder like what caused that, what made the difference. That's where the communication part was really kind of too bad that it wasn't there, because I didn't know. I mean, sometimes when I look at the change, things got better when I was thinner and had my breast implants. And I don't want to think that that was what caused him to get closer. But I wonder sometimes if that was not the change, or maybe it was just time in his life where he needed to have something a little more stable, something he could count on. And I do believe that I was that for him. He always could count on me. And I don't mean like be there to jump, but I mean talk to also. I mean, if he needed to talk, he could call and talk, and we did. So, that was this weekend was quite a weekend, but we're only halfway through, so I'll get to the next chapter in a minute.